have you just tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we'll get into the talk.
Sure. And do you mind just sending them a quick message so you know, like the plan that we would all be on the same time? Because I'm sure they're like, "What's going on?"
Okay. So it's certainly going to be hard for me to do that because
you cannot send a message?
No, like I can pretty much just share a link, but getting to send a message would be a little hard at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. We'll just let them sit and wait.
Yeah. So we'll sit and wait. So let's get started with you.
Sure.
Just a little bit about
me.
About what you do.
Yeah. So my name is always Ceesay Javi.
Yes.
What I do for a living, before I get to that, I'm actually I'm happily married, a mom of 3. And what I do for a living, I currently work for a global bank. It's actually more of a UK bank,
Okay.
but they have locations in the US. Currently, the chief of staff in the collections area. And basically what a chief of staff does, it's a relatively new role in corporate America. I think most people probably are more familiar in terms of like government is always been chief of staffs, but in corporate America, it's maybe like less than 10 years role. So pretty much what I do is, I would say literally everything. It's mainly kind of like trying to just make sure everything is operating efficiently in a optimal way.
Okay.
Basically just making sure everybody's doing whatever they're supposed to do within the whole entire company. So.
All right. So let's just say you're one of the ladies with the extra name. You're the extra. You know, I guess it's one thing for Gambian women to get married and just forfeit their their maiden name, but you still keep your name. So that's say Javi, if I'm correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So according to the short bio I have of you right here, that you've been in the tech world pretty much for about 13 years, and currently the vice president and the chief office operators, chief operations for a Fortune 500 company. Now, how do you find the time to get on the sister show?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually ask myself that daily. Yeah, it's definitely challenging. It's not easy, but it's all about passion, right? It's something that we definitely dedicate time to. It's something that we want to do. We want to keep inspiring. We want to, I'm not saying educating because we don't have like all the answers, but as a team and as like with all the audiences, we do want to kind of like be learning different things and also share some of the experiences that we have. So finding the time, it's about balance. It's about time management, right? Like I have 3 beautiful kids, I'm married, and then I'm doing also the sister show, and I have my full-time job. So it's almost like 3 or 4 jobs at the same time, but it's all about finding the balance and the time.
Now, finding balance is very important because it kind of helps coordinate or keep that discipline. And I feel we live in a generation now where there is a hard time getting to coordinate and to prioritize, in terms of how far further you really want to get ahead. And like you just mentioned, you're a perfect example of you're a perfect example of that. Now, being on the show with the diversity of topics that you cover, because for most people they always like, okay, how do we do this? Your show is definitely covering a range of so much. Well, relationship, marriage, entrepreneurship, finance, innovation, current entertainment, lifestyle, news, events. It's vast. Now, but for you, in your line of work, what would you say is the angle that you somewhat find intriguing? That's like your aspect.
Yeah. So in terms of kind of like how it ties to my work, I'll say it's more of the innovation part of it, and maybe like the entrepreneurship part of it. And I'm very, very like excited about like anything innovation, right? And also like mentoring. That's something that I really have a passion for, because I've benefited from being a mentee and I know like the importance of it. So that's one of the things. Actually, that's one of the shows that we were just shooting today. It's the Mentor on the Spot, which is one of the programs that we have on the show, where we'll get like different people that maybe want to excel, or they may be changing careers or getting into a new career path, and it's for us to kind of like help them along the side. And it's not that we know everything, but there's some things that we could share that we've experienced in the past as we grow, that we could share with other people. So I'm a very, very big proponent of mentorship, because I've seen the benefits of it and I've benefited from it greatly.
Okay, two questions before I let you go and get another sister, because I love the conversation. So two questions. One, which of your childhood memory sisters do you love the most?
Which of my childhood memories do I love?
With your sisters, do you?
Oh, with my sisters.
Yes, is peculiar to you, and or stands out of all the experiences that you've had.
Wow, that's a tough question, because I think I like almost all of the memories with my sisters. As you know, there's like 5 of us on the 4 other sisters on the show. We have like we kind of have different age ranges, but Jay is like the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I had like my my lead brother, who's the second one, and then I'm like the third one. So I'm maybe closer in age with, and then Juka is after me. So I'm closest in age with Juka, and then with Jay. And Juka and I like went to the same schools and all of that. So there's a lot of memories, as you probably will get to see her and know her. She's crazy. She's probably one of the craziest sisters,
Okay.
right? So there's a whole lot of memories. What will stand out probably, I'm not sure if it's like a childhood, but I would say one of them was she's always getting us in trouble, right? So when we went to school in Corsicana, Texas, and so she thought like she could fight when she cannot, right? Because she's like this tiny. so one time, I can't really remember what the issue was, but she decided that she was gonna go to one of our classmates, and I don't know like what the issue was, to kind of like cause a fight. And she went, and then she knocked on the door, and she told the girl like, "Come out, like you think you body." I don't know if you remember that song. I think it was Master P.
You think your body.
And she was like, "You think you body, you need to come out here." And it was so funny. And they actually called the cops on her, but it was like the funniest thing. And we were like, "You're lucky they actually called the cops, because this girl was gonna give you a beat down."
That's why. But my final question to you, as I commend the work that you do, and it's a beautiful show, very educative and very open-minded as well, because that's one of the issues that we have with shows, especially with a Gambian orientation, because there's a lot of restriction, there's a lot of limitation as to what we can say, what we can do, how we can express ourselves. And the fact that you're knocking your socks off. I mean, you're killing it.
Thank you.
What would you want? Let's say, how do you want the show to be perceived by young people? It's one thing to speak of, to speak from a mother's perspective, to speak from a sister's perspective, but young people, someone have to also see themselves through the show. And as part of the co-presenters, what are you trying to express? What do you want young people to grasp at the end of the day?
Yeah, that's a definitely good question, and I think you touch on it perfectly, right? In terms of kind of being in the, I guess, the culture that we have, right? There's a lot of things that you're not allowed to say. There's a lot of things that maybe people just say behind the closed doors, and not being expressive enough. I think that's one of the things that we it actually does impact us, like professionally, in terms of from a cultural perspective, because I recall when I initially started working in corporate America, there were a lot of things that I will not say because I felt like, oh, I'm not supposed to say these things, or oh, I'm a woman, so I should not be saying these things. And those kind of things actually kind of like hindered, I'll say, like my career progression a little bit. Because, and usually when I saw like other people saying things, I used to be like taken aback a little bit. So I'll say like an example would be basically trying to separate yourself, right? Basically finding a balance. Okay. So the example that I would say was, let's say I'll probably see like maybe two people in a meeting, and they'll be going at it, like really, I mean, like going at it, and they're like very, very passionate. And to me, it was like, wow, like these people are fighting, but I thought they were friends. And then after the meeting, you will see them like just hanging out, and it was like, it's business as usual. And it was some of those things. I think it's like, for us, it's more cultural because we tend to kind of like, I think like mash things together. It's like we can like separate like our emotions from a professional life. So it took me like a while to kind of learn that hey, it's all about business. Like when we're talking about the business, I'm trying to bring my point across. This is kind of like what works maybe for the company or for my area or whatever. So I'm not really seeing friends at this point. It's just professionalism. After that, then we can go back, kumbaya, do whatever we need to do. So those are some of the things that we really want to come across. It's like, okay, there's some cultures, like a lot of our culture is extremely like good, right? But there's some of the cultures too that kind of like hindering us back. If you're in the West, it's kind of, you have to be able to speak up. You have to be open-minded. You have to speak like whatever you're thinking. And you have to be really confident too. And that's some of the things too that we want to help maybe like with the younger generation to come, etc. is you should be confident. You shouldn't really, if I believe in something, I don't really care what anybody else think of me or how they perceive it. This is who I am. This is what I want to say. This is, you either like it or you don't. If you don't like it, you could always, I don't know, just take the high road, right? So that's pretty much how we do it on the show. We are very, very honest. What you see is what you get. And I think maybe sometimes people may think that, oh, it's for the show, but it's not. Like, it is what it is.
Sure.
And we just say it how we feel like saying.
I appreciate the sister show. I appreciate your thoughts. I love the diversity of ideas that is being brought to the table by yourself and your sisters. It's certainly going to be intriguing getting to hear their perspective on this same question. But ma'am, I'm still going to call you Mrs. Jabi, if possible, because that somewhat creates distinctions between all the Ceesays.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the short talk. I appreciate you. Let me get to another Ceesay sister.
Of course. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
So that is Oli Ceesay Jabi right there. She's one of the ladies from the Sisters Show. So if you haven't watched it, please make sure you get to follow them on social media. But it's easier for you to do that. You could be pretty much just go on www.thesistershow.com and let's find another one right now. So I go back to the same page and request, and this time let's hope that it's not the blonde that shows up. But yes, it could be the blonde though. It could be someone else. let's see who we have. Let's see who we have this time. So the show is done by Dr. J, Oli Ceesay, Emmy Ceesay, Juka Ceesay, and Dr. Mamaran Ceesay. It's an army. Okay. So I think they'll need time to. They'll need time to switch the girl magic right there. Black girl magic, Fatu Kujabi. Okay, so how do I request? Okay, so Amy is here, right? So Amy has like her separate page. Amy is the beauty director. Amy is the beauty director. So let's talk to Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hello, Danny.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I love your accent.
That was my fake accent. That was my fake British accent.
Oh, which one's the real accent now?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So are you, would you consider, should we consider you the chat, or how does this work?
Oh, honey, I'm far from the chat.
Really?
So Dr. Ma, so the chat is a boy.
Oh.
But Dr. Mams is the youngest of the sisters show.
Wow. But
Yeah.
why do they have you come off as like it's like you were the chat, like?
No, but so I act like the chat because I'm the spoiled one. They all love me the most.
Okay.
They might say something different, but don't believe it. They love me the most.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Amy Ceesay, you're into the fashion industry.
Yes.
And I know how entirely hectic that could that could potentially be. I'm still going to ask you this question. Where do you find the time?
I don't have time.
Okay.
I seriously don't. Like, I don't even find, so this is hard. Because I have a full-time job in what I do.
Yes.
And I also have 2 side hustles.
Wow.
And then I work on the sister show. So when I tell you I don't have time, I really don't.
I can see that. But would you consider yourself successful?
Not yet.
Why?
I'm working towards it. Success is defined by different people in different ways.
Sure.
In my own way, I'm still on the way to it. I'm still walking towards it. Until I get to it, I'm not gonna stop working. Because I think us as Gambians, us as Africans, there is one thing that people would always do, and you probably agree with me, and what they do is, oh no, not jikar, I'm Haris, right?
True.
And I'm just like, stop insulting me. Like, I want to be rich. Like, I don't care about it, man. Like, so it's more like, what are you doing? Why are you praying for somebody else's son to get rich and not me get rich? Like, I want to be rich. And I'm not talking about chapter rich. I'm talking about like rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So over here it's hustle till we die. So that's what it is. That's why I don't have time.
You're hustling till you die. Into some of the question that I drafted, because initially in my head I was certainly just picturing all of you, but Rich, but this
I think every sister that comes, you're gonna have to have a different line of questioning.
That's what I'm saying.
Based on their.
Yeah. So right now I am on improvisation mode right now. So
I'll help you out here. Okay. So Ule, like you just had, she's she's chill, she's calm.
Please don't tell. Yeah. So they should stop calling you. They should stop calling you though. Whoever's calling you.
They're not calling. Like, nobody's calling me. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And then Juka is crazy. So when you get her, make sure you get her. Oh, and Dr. Jade, she thinks she's a mom, but she has a crazy side. Don't believe all that doctor talk.
Okay. I certainly would not believe the doctor talk, the doctor talk. But amongst the 5 sisters, who's the brain, and what considers her to be the brain of probably you 5?
My internet.
Okay. So who's the brain? Who's the brain? And why? What makes her the brain? Are you the brain of the sisters?
So the brain of the show or the brain?
Yeah, I mean, five sisters. There's always someone that's dominant. There's always the one that is on top.
And I think that's one thing that's very different in my household. Like,
Okay.
we all think we're the brain in different things. We're all experts in what we do. So the five sisters, I am into the fashion world. Juka has her own business. Then you have Dr. J, who's a family physician and was a trauma doctor. Then you have Dr. Mams, who's an OB. So it's like we're all like the smart head in what we do, and we don't want anyone else feeling like they're smarter than us, because we're gonna come back.
So in the fashion world right now, have you bumped shoulders with any Gambians? Like, have you found is equally on the same platform or range as you are?
Are you talking about like in my line of work? Like if I have actually like
in your life.
Yeah. So before I moved to Texas, I live in Houston right now.
Yeah.
And I work for Christian Dior. But before I actually bagged a job with Dior and is working full time, I used to model in New York. And I remember my first gig with BET, I worked for BET on Rip the Runway. There was a girl, and she looked at me, she was like, "Are you Gambian?" I was like, "Yeah." Because like models don't really talk to each other. So I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, I think I know you." And then we started talking, and her name is Yaboido, and she actually still models. So she's still in New York, and that was the only Gambian that I've ever worked with on a runway show in America. Yeah, and she's still doing really good. She's doing amazing.
But with the experience and the connections that you have, how would you bring along the other faces? How would you bring along? Because so far, everyone that has seen you is like, "Oh my God, Gambian women are so beautiful." Oh, man, like.
Oh, thank you.
Someone was saying there's probably an army in your DMs. How do you with Amy as an individual, like how do you bring along the beauty of Gambia? Like how do you get all this, how do you sell the beauty of Gambia?
So I'm someone who most people don't know, but I'm a diehard Gambian. Like, I started modeling not in America, but I started modeling in Gambia when I was still back home. And I've actually represented Gambia in a lot of like international modeling competitions when I was home still, that I actually won. So Gambia is always like on my backbone. But what I do is I make sure that everything I do, I remember one time, the reason why I had to change my name to Amy is because I didn't change it like officially, but just like, that I go by. There was a girl who was on America's Next Top Model that I worked with, and her name was Amina, and my name is Aminata. Ooh. And one time we walk on BET, and they always have our profiles like on the BET website itself. And they put my information under her name, and then put her name under my name. And then people were trying to think that I was just trying to be her. And I'm like, no, like I still want to be Aminata, So it was hard, but I still had to kind of like still save my identity. I didn't want it to change the name, but even though I wanted to maintain my Gambian-ness so much, I had to change to Amy just so they can differentiate us, because we looked alike and we would probably possibly back the same jobs. So Gambia is always on my head. It's always on my flag. So I still go back home quite often, and I still want to help out a lot and do stuff for the younger generation.
It will be phenomenal if you're able to drag along a protege. It will be very good, very good. If we say tomorrow, it's like, yeah, Amy gave this other person a pathway to the to the modeling scene in the USA, because it's quite huge. That'll be fascinating. Two questions. First off, a remark. They are complimenting your voice.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Oh, they said you sound like Tony Braxton.
Oh, what? don't give me a gig.
You sound like the unbreak my heart.
I can't sing to save my life.
No way. Oh, okay. So 2020, what's your top 5 songs?
2020. You
Top
know,
5.
2020, people are crying about 2020, but 2020 has been amazing for me. In 2020, we started the Sister Show. In 2020, I was able to get back on YouTube. So follow me on YouTube if you're not, by Amy Ceesay. I'm going to give a shout out to myself. So in 2020, I was able to get back on YouTube. I think 2020 is the year that gives you time to really think through yourself. I'm a business-minded person. And for me, every single time I have, it's like, how can I make money? Like, what can I do different? Like, how can I be better? So 2020 is a year of growth. It's a year that you sit back, that God really pushed us down and say, take time to yourself. Like, your job's still going to pay you, but just take time to yourself and reevaluate your life and see how best you can be and how far you can go. And this was the year that I really took time to myself and put some business plans in place and invested into myself and do a lot of research.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you certainly have you somewhat found yourself in 2020.
I wouldn't say I found myself in 2020, but I took the opportunity to actually help myself grow and helping also get on the Sister Show, where we inspire and get inspired. Where we talk about the uncomfortable, where we have the uncomfortable conversations that we don't normally have in our living rooms, in our households, and be able to just bring Gambia to the world. We're not doing this just for Gambia, but we're doing it for the entire continent and the entire world, but just to kind of bring something different. This is the first time you see 5 sisters come together and have a show. And these are 5 sisters who are very opinionated. We do different things. Like, we are very different in what we do, very different personalities. And we all come together on one platform to give you guys a show.
Out of all the topics that you have, which is your angle, or which is your go-to? Which are you comfortable with? Lifestyle, events, news, entertainment, current, just entrepreneurship, finance, the list goes on, relationship, marriage, wellness. What is which are you comfortable with?
Literally everything. I think that's what makes us different. Like, okay. It's not like we're comfortable. It's not like I'm comfortable with just we're talking about finance, or we're talking about relationship. We're not experts in all these things, but what it is that we all have experiences in all of these aspects also. So it's what makes us different. Like, I can't just say I'm an expert in relationship, like, and I've never been married, like, so it's like there's not being an expert. It's not trying to be perfect here. It's trying to learn along the way of doing things. There is no one person that is going to say, I know it all, I have it all. It's being open and actually allowing yourself to be vulnerable and giving the pointers that you can give, and at the same time learn from those things. I had a huge bash on What's on Gambia, but with all Gambian men, and the whole world was running after me, but I still listened to their points, but it still just, to me, basically showed me who they really were. You know what I'm saying? So
what did you say exactly?
So, Daddy, what are you trying to like?
Just say what you.
What are you trying to bring the trouble again?
Just say what you said.
So I think, okay. So basically, I didn't even directly say this. I think they were just, the topic was it was not even a topic. It was basically like a hot soup, which is one of the segments that we have on the show, and we were talking about men in general, and I was like, well, Gambian men, they're not even romantic, right? It was just like a. Whatever, right?
Oh, you're part of those people as well. Oh.
No. I was actually the reason why the story came out.
Okay.
And when I tell you, my phone was blowing up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, what is going on? I look at my phone, and it was like blasting of messages, and it's interesting to see that people have different opinions. But when I say that, we talk about the uncomfortable conversations. There is a lot of women in Gambia who feel the same way like I feel.
True.
Right? But they don't say it. They don't put it in words. They just are quiet with it. They could even be married and they feel like their husbands are not even romantic, but they're not gonna say it. You know what I'm saying? So when I said this thing, so the backlash was, oh, your dad is not romantic.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, chill out, take a break. Do you even know what romance means? Like, this is the point that you need to sit back, take a chill pill, and think about what is the most romantic thing I've actually done for my woman, right? Ooh. Right? Mm. But not really like punching. Like, I was like, whoa. Like, so, I was just dodging.
So quickly, what's the most romantic thing a Gambian guy has done for you? Wait, girl, you gonna sanitize me now?
I'm about to Lysol you like Mrs. Myers you.
Okay. What's the most romantic thing a Gambian guy has done for you?
The most romantic.
Oh my God, you have to think that hard?
No, dead ass. What's the most romantic thing a Gambian guy has done for me?
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Danny, that's a tough one.
Oh my God, really?
That's a very tough one.
Amy, this is sad. This is really sad.
It's facts.
Not off head, like right there, like just off head. Remember anything?
Nothing.
So what's your type? What's your type? Like what? Because right now, like I know.
Let me drink to that.
Let me just say I'm a matchmaker. I could probably potentially somewhat find you, like a somebody. Trust me, these people they know I match people up, and some good things happen.
But you get but just to kind of help you out before you actually before you get there, right? To be fair, you have to also ask me, what is the most romantic thing somebody else who's not Gambian has ever done for me?
And see what?
Just to kind of teach this.
Okay, let's
educate them, Danny.
Let's hear it. What's the most romantic thing?
And that's sometimes they think it's really about the big things. The most romantic thing, I'll give you two. Most romantic thing a guy has done for me. I am obsessed with watermelon.
Wow. Did she just say watermelon?
Watermelon. Walked up to my house and brought me a bowl of watermelons. I was on cloud 9.
Damn, watermelon turns you on?
No, it's not turning on. It's just romantic. It felt good. Because I was like, oh my God, I was even expecting to eat watermelons or have watermelons, right? But it's so good. And another one was a guy drove 5 hours just to bring me flowers.
5 hours?
5 hours.
You see it?
The Gambian-ness in you.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, what? It's not. No, that's not. This is me from a Gambian perspective. Just that's the reaction. It's like,
that's the reaction.
You never like,
exactly. And instantly I was like, damn, is that he? Like,
So what happened after the flowers?
I mean, obviously, stop it.
Okay. Okay. But Emmy, what? Don't worry. I'll slide your DMs, and I'll need a little bit more details as to the type of man I'll eventually bring to your life. Trust me.
Just make sure the watermelon is seedless, though.
Oh yeah, I was like, bro, hold on, bro, listen, bro, halbi, bro, but for the halbi there, bro, bro, so I'm the hard like
I have to say, one of the funniest things that I saw on the comments, one of them said, actually two. One of them was like, boy, you think I'm timey romance. Yo, you hear like a tapala for every day and no romance. I was like, oh shit. The tapala could even be like the romance, right?
Yep.
You know, and some other one was like, I guess she wants us to wear bra and jug jelly and dance. And I'm like, you see, they don't, it's like, Danny, I think that's one of the things that you probably have to talk about here and teach people what romance really means. Like,
true.
Because they go, they don't get it.
Well, I'll get into that conversation. But in conclusion, what do you want? What do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for? I think my legacy is very important, isn't it? I want to be remembered by someone who was able to inspire a lot of young people, especially young women, to be independent and self-sufficient. Don't be scared of people pointing hands to you and saying that why don't you have time for marriage? I'm not saying you can't get married, but I think in our society, we make it seem as if that's the ultimate goal, right? I want every young woman to look at themselves and be confident and know for a fact that they can get it and they can have whatever they set their minds to. There is no limit. Even the sky shouldn't be the limit. Like it should be limitless. I want every young woman to know that you can do it. Put your mind to it, put the work, and you can definitely get it done.
True. Amy, thank you very much. You are
You
are a light in the you're a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate the work that you do. There's so much. Don't worry. Me personally, now I have. It's important. It's important that we have this conversation. But I'm not sure I follow you. If I don't follow you, please just shoot me a DM so I'll follow you and we'll have conversations. The stuff we'll talk about after this. But thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much. You have made our day. That is Amy right there, Amy Ceesay. Now it's 5 sisters. I've covered just 2. Let me find out. Let me find one of the doctors because we have 2 doctors. We have two doctors that are part of the show. So let me see. Dr. J is here, and Dr. J Ceesay is the eldest, as I was told, and she's been a health provider for over 20 years, and she actually runs her own family practice in Texas. So yes, so Dr. J, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Danny, for having me.
Dr. J, mashallah. Dr. J, nice nga.
Thank you.
So, Dr. J, how does it feel being the eldest among 5 sisters?
Now, who told you that I was the oldest?
I mean, I think Oli mentioned that you were the oldest, if I'm correct.
I'm the oldest in life, but the youngest at heart.
Yeah, your sister, Sister J, young at heart. Which one is young at heart? I mean,
age is nothing but a number. It's how you feel and how you act.
True. As a healthcare practitioner in 2020, with all the current crisis that we have, which of the stories have you found fascinating so far? I mean, let's forget the vid, like Kevin Hart was saying, forget the vid. Apart from outside Corona, what other health issue have you seen that is worth speaking on?
Mental health crisis actually is one of the biggest issues that we are facing and we are ignoring. And I think that will be one of the issues that we'll have in the future as well. Definitely.
Wow. Why would you say that?
Because when you think about it, whether you have COVID or you don't have COVID, you're already worried about having COVID, right? That's already an anxiety issue. So if you don't know how to balance, or if you already have an anxiety problem in the past, this issue alone can exacerbate that same factor. So, and mental health is something that, especially in our like in African cultures and stuff, it's something that we don't tend to address, even in the Black communities. So whether it's African Americans or it's just Americans or it's Africans, people are always afraid to talk about mental health. And I think I've seen so many patients that come in that didn't have mental health issues before, and now they're having anxiety problems. And I've had patients that were already having anxiety issues or depressions, and now their symptoms are even worse. So these are issues that we definitely need to address. And then you have less mental health providers out there, and some of them can't even see patients. All they can do is telemedicine. So these are issues that we are not addressing because we have so much focus on coronavirus itself. But I always tell my colleagues, what's going to happen after coronavirus? You're going to have obesity getting worse. You have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, because you also have these people that are already diagnosed that cannot see a doctor. And then you have people that have never been diagnosed, but because they're afraid to even go to see their providers, by the time corona is gone, you're going to have a lot of health crises that we are not addressing.
Wow. Sure. That is. Now, I don't think people really look at it from that perspective, just with the idea and the fact that they really portray the fact that the health facility, especially in America, are overflowing. They're exceeding their capacity. So regular people can't even have they can't have the normal checkups that they have, or that they go periodically, and that is somehow going to affect them. We don't look at we don't look at those long-term effects. That's very interesting.
Yeah, and that's all what we are thinking about. All my colleagues are already thinking about that, because we know we are going to have crisis. Like even now, back in March till June, when the crisis was bad, the first round of the COVID, people couldn't have surgeries. They couldn't see their specialist. And now all the patients that have insurance need to see their specialist before the end of the year.
True.
So they don't have the copay, but then you don't have the time available to see all these patients. And then you have patients that have issues that were urgent, but not emergent. So if you need surgery, or if you need, it has to be an emergency surgery before they can take you to surgery. So when all of these specialists can do these surgeries, now you have a whole bunch of patients that could have been managed a little bit better, but now their symptoms are becoming more emergent than before. So these are crises that we are definitely going to have to deal with in the long run.
Speaking of COVID, we can see around the world people are somewhat celebrating the vaccine, or a tentative vaccine that is currently on trial. Should we trust that? I mean, I read a few articles that are somewhat scary of what potential side effects are. Now, what's your take on that?
So this is the issue with vaccines. You already have people that are not very well educated in terms of vaccines, but they're vaccine phobic. They're afraid of any vaccine, whether it's COVID or whatever vaccine. They just don't want to get vaccinated because that's their belief, which is perfectly fine. And then you have other people that come up with all these myths and all these social media stories about the vaccine, when they themselves don't actually know the side effects of the vaccine. So the side effects that we know should be based on the research, which is mainly headaches, body aches, or like flu-like symptoms. Because the vaccine itself is not a live virus. So it's basically like a virus that you have bitten up until it's almost about to die, or it's almost dead, and you vaccinate the person with that. There's another type of vaccine which has not been FDA approved, which has worsening symptoms than the other vaccine, okay? But it's stronger. So the vaccine that they're trying to approve with that vaccine is not as strong, but then you need 2 doses. Okay, so you need a dose one, and then 14 days later, you need the second dose. And then what people need to understand, they can all get excited, but I would say the best protection is using your mask. Okay, because number one, we don't know how long your antibodies are going to stay in your system. That means you're going to be protected with the vaccine. Number two, when you are vaccinated on day one, it doesn't mean that you're going to get protection immediately. When you get the vaccine, 28 days later, that's when your body develops the antibodies to protect you against the virus. So these are things that people need to be educated about. So don't just stand jumping hoops and celebrating, saying there's a vaccine, I can do whatever I want to do. We should still continue to protect ourselves and others from the get-go. But then the other part that you asked, which I see a lot with our African community or African American or even American communities, even Europeans, there are a lot of people that don't want to be vaccinated because they think there's this story about someone is trying to control the way
Whose minds and whatnot.
Yes, and all that stuff. What I can tell you is it's absolutely not true. Okay. Now, I don't know what the long run is going to be, what the side effects are going to be in the long run. Like with any medication, whether it's diabetic medication, high blood pressure medication, when it comes out the first time, there's a few symptoms that we can come up with and say these are the symptoms or the side effects that we found out during the research. But in the long run, what is it going to do to the body? We don't know. And if someone comes up and say, oh, you're going to be a handicap, or you're going to have mental illness, or you're going to have this, those are all people's coming up with stories, and it's not based on facts. So I cannot say anything that is not based on the evidence, anything that's not based on facts. So all I can tell you is we need to be vaccinated, especially the older people. Not when the vaccine comes out, it's not you that's going to be vaccinated. It's the healthcare providers. It's the people in the nursing homes. Those are the people that are going to be vaccinated first. So especially with my African families that are over there fighting against the vaccine, it's so expensive. Don't think it's going to just come to Gambia the next day so you will be vaccinated. Number one, we don't even have the resources to do that because it has to be kept in a certain temperature before it gets there.
Ooh, okay. Dr. J, as much as you have blessed us with knowledge, you have scared the daylight out of us.
Why are you scared?
Listen, we all love life. You know, we all want to live happy, but subconsciously we know that the things that are able to kill us are way more than just us staying healthy. Regardless of however healthy you could be eating carrots every day, but that carrot could someday just turn into a toxic, you know, like the toxicity of of the carrot in your body could develop a weird illness that's eventually going to mess your body up. So even water itself, even they say drink water, but excessive water as well has its side effects.
Absolutely.
So it's just, that's what I'm saying. So as much as this is good news, it's to like, oh my God.
Okay, this is my philosophy in life. Okay. You cannot have this anxiety about what's going to happen tomorrow. Because if that's the case, you will not drive a car, you will not fly, okay? You will not do anything. You may not even sleep in your room. What about if your roof falls down? What about if there's a tornado tomorrow? What if? That is what we call anxiety. If you keep thinking about the future that is not here yet and you can't control it, then you have a problem. As human beings, we cannot control what is not here. What is here is the now. Like me and you speaking right now, that's all I can control. And how you react to that situation, that's what you control. You cannot control how I react to that situation. Because if you want to control everything around you, you're not going to live life. Okay.
How do you, in 2020, this is an interesting question. What has brought you sisters together? Which situation? What exactly? What moment in 2020 has brought the five sisters together closer?
We've always been very close. We've
Okay.
been very close growing up. Our parents, we basically grew up in one household, very close. And when the sisters came over to the US, they all pretty much stayed with me from the get-go. And that even brought the closeness even further. But when 2020 came, before 2020 came, when the Jammeh era, we lost my brother, as you probably know.
Yeah.
And that kind of, we knew we wanted to do something in his memory. And we knew that social media, media in general, is one way that we can use our voices to help other people to become better, to believe in themselves. Because he always wanted to help people. He helped people that we didn't even know he was doing. And one of the projects that he had was to open a computer school back home to help the unfortunate kids. So, and we couldn't go back and do that, but we know you can open schools, but you cannot open schools all over Africa. We don't have the luxury to do that. But we can open one platform that we can take our ideas and our beliefs and educate people so they can believe in themselves. Because I think no matter what you have, no matter how much you know, if you don't have that self respect and if you don't have that self-esteem, you're not going to go anywhere. Whether you are in Africa or in the West, you still have to have that self-belief. And that comes with someone telling you you are capable. And I think that's one of the things that we wanted to bring on the show and help other people understand that you can be what you want to be. You should not let your fear, like the anxiety of what if, hold you back. Because once you have that, you cannot move forward.
Man, Dr. J, we could have this conversation for um I love how accessible the show is, because just looking at just looking at it, you can see that it's somewhat on so many different platforms. So someone gonna say, "Oh, I can't reach the show." If you go on YouTube, is there? It's on Instagram. You have a page, Facebook, Twitter, even the normal regular podcasts on Google Podcasts. Like the Radio Publics and Anchor, like wherever you are able to reach. If once you're on the internet, you're able to get access to the sister show. Like I keep saying, me, I love the internet, and that's why I decided right there to put www.thesistershow.com, because that once you're there, there are links to the rest of them.
Exactly, Danny. That was the whole idea, because we know some people, like for me, I don't usually watch TV.
Yeah.
So if I'm driving, you can go and listen to a podcast. If you're exercising, you can do the same thing. So you are not limited to just watch Facebook. Some people don't have Facebook. Some people don't have YouTube. So we just wanted to make sure people can access us whenever and wherever. That was the whole point.
Beautiful. Dr. J, can I book an online therapy session with you? Someone is asking right now.
Yes, just DM on the sister show. I usually answer. We have like a Wellness Wednesday where I answer different questions that people may have in terms of health and wellness. I haven't done any one-on-one private, but I wouldn't mind helping people. I already do it without the sister show, and I was doing it before COVID, and I've done a lot of health and wellness issues overseas, like in Gambia and Senegal. People usually will text me, and if they have questions, I don't mind helping out at all.
Out of the 5 sisters, kan mo gana upal?
I think I will let you decide on that one. All of the
I want it, because as the eldest, it falls down on you to determine that. I mean, you've lived the longest, so
we are all special in our own ways.
Yes.
But I think Juka and Amy are the ones that are on top.
They're the bougie ones.
Yes, they're on top. It's Juka and Amy. In the competition is between the two of them. Some days it's Juka, some days it's Amy. So they all have their own special little.
All right, that is fascinating. But guys, you heard from Dr. J. I want to say thank you so much for actually just talking to us. It's important. Health is wealth. Like I keep telling people, though, it's important that we take care of our health. But I appreciate the time. I love the show so much. I love I love the addition that you bring on. I love the energy, the vibe that you bring on the show. It's certainly is. Even though it would have been fun if we could see all of you just standing and just walking around. But you know, the fact that y'all just sitting down is another thing. It's another thing.
I know we're coming up with something. Maybe Juka will indulge in that
Okay.
later. Maybe we'll have something for the New Year's just for you guys. We'll see. We'll keep planning it, so we'll see how we can do that, so you guys can see a little bit of us. We'll plan for it. But like you said, Danny, thank you for having me. And one thing that I want to remind my people, especially in Africa, is be careful and be mindful of what you eat. We're worried about the vaccine.
True.
The vaccine is not as bad as we think. I think what we put in our system is probably even worse than the vaccine, which we do every day. We are what you eat. You are what you eat. That's what I tell people every day. So let's just go back to our roots and try to be a little bit more organic and authentic. Like.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Woo.
Thank you.
That is Dr. J. Wow. Now, see, having to deal with Five Sisters is intense, though. So I have two more. So I have Dr. Mam, and I have the famous Juka. Now I'm all for it. Like right now, they just, you know, Juka. So how do I get Dr. Mam so I can end with Juka, because they have everyone have spoken highly of Juka. So Juka Yomo, mashallah. Dr. Mams, what's her handle? How do I find her? How do I find her? Oh, she's at work. Okay, good. So that means, let me get back. So she's at work. So yeah. So let's do this. Let's do. Ooh. So guys. So bottom blonde, man, I blonde me man now. Bottom cooler, bottom curdy.
Now I can hear you. I want your music though, Daddy. Where's the music? You always have really lovely music.
Really?
Yes, I always watch your lives.
Okay, so are you a fan of reggae music?
I love all the music that you always play.
Okay, so this is a special song. This is a very special song, and if people know, they should know that this is for all beautiful women.
Okay.
A queen.
Okay. Okay.
Don't you know you are my queen?
You know what? Somebody said I knew Juka was the blonde one.
So that is Chronix right there with this beautiful song. Jukes, is that what they call you?
You know, my younger brother calls me Jukes. Yeah, I think the guys in the family call me Jukes. Yeah.
Because I know everyone that's like a Juka is Jukes. You know.
Yeah.
So Juka, what makes you special? Let me ask you that. As a sister, as the opal one. That's what they said that. So what makes you?
Wait a second. So Dr. J didn't answer that. She said 2. So you just gave me the label?
Because even Amy came, she said it's Juka. Everyone says Juka is the wild one. Wow. Look, you are portraying wildness, right? Look at it. Wow.
Look, Daddy, let me go in my feminine energy. What do you have to say?
What do you have to say about yourself now? So Juka, yes.
Yes.
What makes Juka special? Juka Ceesay, what makes you special?
Well, okay, I could go 2 ways. I could say I am special because every human being should be special. But I think Right. Everyone that's watching, you are special, you're unique, you're different. You just have to embrace it, and that's what makes you special, right?
True.
And for me, I guess my name, that's actually even that tells it all. It's very special. You don't really hear that many Jukas in the Gambia.
Yeah.
I've met, right, and even like I've met one lady. Her name was Juka. She was Japanese, right? I've met a Swedish. Her name was Juka. And so it leaves me wondering where my parents got that name from, because even in Gambia, there are not that many Jukas out there. It's only a few. And my siblings used to make fun of my name, and I hated my name when I was a kid, but I love it now. Thank you, Daddy.
What name did they give you?
So okay, so they used to call me Juku Pen Pen because there was this guy that used to come to our house, and he used to sell pancakes, and he used to sing that song for me. He used to be like Juku Pen Pen, Juku. I don't know, I can't. So all my siblings would call me Juku Pen Pen, and I hated my name. And I remember going when I was in Methodist, I changed my name. I told everyone that my name was Ceesay because they used to call me Juka at the house too. So I said my name was Ceesay. Listen to this. So then, when I went to high school, my mom took me all the way to the high school to register and say, her name is not Ceesay, it's Juka. Put Juka. Oh. I cried all day.
I feel like you're like me. I mean, I found out my full name when I was in junior high, because my name Danny Constant is what my parents have always been calling me since.
I love that name. That's your real name?
That's my real name.
Wow.
But that is not the name. That's not my government name. Just say.
Right. They just called you that. Okay.
So Daniel Constant is my real name. But my parents never called me by the name Daniel. So they only call me Danny.
Danny.
So I did not even know that, like
Danny Constant.
So
yeah.
And for that I was like, man. So I loved different names. Like I love Brian.
Yeah.
I call myself Brian. At some point, I changed my name. I think I was Muru Kamara at some point.
So then, you got me. You feel my pain.
Yeah, I was Mustafa Njai at some other given point as well. So it was intense.
It left your friends confused, right?
Oh yeah, but in school they call me Wizzy.
Oh, another one.
Yes, they call me Wizzy. To this point, my classmates, when they see me and they're like, "Oh, Danny consider cool, hi Wizzy." So they still call me Wizzy. Wizzy. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of my classmates in Methodist were very confused later on down the line when they heard people calling me Juka. They were like, "Wait, is her name Ceesay or Juka?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, it's Juka." But yeah,
the sister show is. I feel you are the face. You are yes. Let me.
Ooh, they're coming for you. Ooh.
You are the face. You are the face. So you are the most hyped about the show.
Danny, breaking news. Amy, breaking news. Danny say I'm the face.
You are the face of it. No, Amy motherfucking are nice. Let's just say that. As in, she has more appealing look.
Okay, Danny. Yeah. Thank you,
so
Danny.
Amy has a way more appealing look, especially for the male crowd.
Danny, you took me like this and you went zoop.
You the fandank.
Okay. All
so
right.
I fancy do nice I be like. I fancy the anda hell. The anda pop.
A jumbo.
Sap. Wow.
Oh.
So you're fooling in your like. You say what say you yay jelly. You yay.
Yako want it?
You yay.
Danny.
No. It's not doctor. All the doctors they will come. They will put their look. You come. When you see like mashallah, plastic touch.
Matas
Wow.
Hey, why Danny? Pare won film then you get film sin pare.
No. You got this. But
right.
but I appreciate, because I mean most of the social media interactions are done by you, and
I'm a fan. You know, I watch your show all the time.
Yes, you
right?
yes, you
So yeah.
Yeah.
So Ole and Jay and Amy, don't hate.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're doing an amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, being part of the show, how does that add value to you? Because it's one thing to do things with your siblings, but in order for you to do that, there must be some gain in return. Like, so what value does the sister show add to Juka Ceesay?
Wow. Okay, don't see. This is the thing with me. I have different levels to me, right? I can go talking about feminine energy. Okay, I could be silly sometimes, but then also I can get really spiritual. So we gotta figure out which way you. Okay, so for me, when you give something to someone, I actually consider that them giving you the gift of giving. Right? So for me, the audience are giving us a gift to give what we can offer.
Okay.
Because it feels really good. It's very gratifying to wake up every day to give something to people that you know they appreciate and they love and they welcome. So for me, that's a gift from them. So that adds a lot of value to me, at least, and I know for my sisters too, because it feeds my soul to do what I do with the sister show. I think I've done a lot of things in my life, but honestly, this has been somewhat one of the most gratifying things, to be honest with you, authentically speaking. That's how passionate we are. I mean, and I share this with all of my sisters, but I know for sure for me, like the passion that I have with this, when I speak about it, my whole body language actually has shifted.
True.
Right?
True.
Because I know that, like Dr. J, I was watching it, Dr. J said, the media is very powerful. It's actually even more powerful than the way that the parents raise their kids, right? Because every day, every second, we are spending a lot of time with the media, whether it's social, right? Whether it's the news, whether it's blogs, whatever it is, you are being fed, right? So for us, if we can feed something to people, especially the next generation, I'm not talking about the people that are already like you already know your stuff, you already figured out life, right? Anything you don't want to do is because you don't want to do it, right? And anybody else around my age range, whatever they don't want to do, they already know, they just don't want to do it, right? But it's the people that are coming up that we are trying to get to, right? Some of the things that I know now, if other people, a lot of people help me along the way, my journey, but I think if I just had a lot more, I probably would be a lot, like somewhere else a lot more, right? So I think it's important. So yeah, it was, sorry, I just went on a ramble there.
It's fine. Let me get into the sisterhood now. Being part of having other sisters around it's a lot of it's a weight on your shoulder, and I feel like since you are the Khalifa, sometimes I feel like I have the vibe that.
Who told you that, Danny? Who told you that?
Because listen, look, Juka, you're the bougie one. It's fine. We get it. Look, see, look at that. Look. You know, have you guys ever had like serious confrontation? You know, as five sisters, there must be like, have you guys ever been in like a major clash? Like you thought like this will be the major fallout?
Because everything about us, we want it is authentic, right? And I keep it 100, like Amy would say, because for me, in order for people to connect with us or to connect with you, they really have to know your truth, whatever that is, right? You can't sugarcoat it. You can't make it look perfect when it's not, right? So for us, when we film sometimes, right, there will be times when there's back and forth. Do it this way. No, we're going to do it this way, that way, right? So that goes on back and forth. But the beauty of it all is at the end of the day, we know we love each other and we respect each other and we value each other equally on the show. So I think that's what keeps it going. But even in family dynamics, even without the show, sometimes when we get together, you might have, especially Amy and I, everybody knows we We butt heads. But
What has been the recent clash about?
just today we were filming. We said, okay, I think, Amy said, Amy was supposed to say something. And I said, Amy, do this. And she says, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm not going to be able to do that. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But, sometimes in my head and I forgot. So then we went around and then I made Amy to do it again. And she did it and it wasn't right. I said, Amy, you just didn't do it right. And she goes, well, I told you that I wasn't going to do it. I didn't want to do it. So why you made me do it? I was like, okay, you're right. So that's when I go in my feminine energy. Okay. Have you heard of feminine energy?
Yes, I know. I mean, we had conversations about energy, and you don't want to know what type of energy we're talking about. But anywho, have you sisters ever thought about clothes and shoes and that sort of thing? Like just hair.
Okay. Since Amy, no, not Amy. Since Olay. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes I talk too much and then I tell on myself. Okay, the story about the girl that went to fight with her classmate.
That was you, right?
No, it wasn't. Yeah,
that was you.
I guess. I just spilled the beans.
Crazy like that.
But Danny, I'm not like that anymore. I've grown so much. You see, I'm like, I like to be like the princess, like. I'm not like that anymore. I promise. I've grown. I used to be like 1 to 100. Girls, if you're watching and you're younger, please, you don't need to be like that. That's not good. But anyway, yeah, I used to, well, don't get me wrong. If you try to check me right now, I'll still come back for you. But I've changed, right? But okay, so with siblings, Olay, we went to the same college and I would try to steal her clothes sometimes. Because she always had like really nice outfits, but she didn't want to share. Mm-hmm. She was stingy with her clothes. Ole, I never told you this, Ole, but this is the truth. This is how I feel about you, Ole. You never shared your clothes with me.
Okay.
So I would always steal her clothes. And I remember one crop top that I really loved from her. And every time I wear it, I would try to hurry up and hide it, right? So that she doesn't take it from me, right? And then keep wearing it because I wanted everybody to believe that it was actually my crop top. So I would wear it and then I would go, I just told on myself again. I would wear the crop top. It was a nude color one. I would wear the crop top and then I would hide it until it's laundry time. I would do the laundry. I'll wash it and then I'll wear it again and go to school. And she wouldn't know because we had different classes. It was college. So there you have it.
Who amongst your sister, who's the first to throw hands? Anybody ever threw hands?
I don't think we get physical. I think Amy is all talk. I don't think when it comes to
those nails, of course, those nails, she don't want to go to jail.
And her hands are very long, so you would think she threw a punch, but she doesn't. She's just all talk. Mm-hmm. Me? No, Dr. J. Ooh.
Dr. J be slapping?
Hey, let me tell you, don't, how you say it in the Nigerian accent, don't let that woman fool you, okay? She come over here like, yes, Danny, the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. Dr. J can go on 100 in a second. Oh, you better not mess with Dr. J. We don't mess with Dr. J.
Now you're all a powerhouse. You Juka, you are basically you're the founder of the organic corporation, pretty much, or Juka's Organic.
Juka's Organic. Mm-hmm.
And this is a powerhouse right there. Established in almost 5 countries.
Thank you. Oh, you did your research. Thank you.
Now it's one thing to have powerful women because you are all exceptional. You are all.
Oh, thank you.
You're all giants in your field. My question is, do you intimidate? Do you feel like you intimidate other sisters? Each of you is outright outstanding in your own league. Now, when 5 of you come together, it's an atomic bomb right there. If it goes off, it's wild.
Right.
Do you feel like you intimidate all the women, or you sisters?
Oh, like you mean like we intimidate each other within the sisterhood or
No.
outside of
Yeah. So do you, as sisters, do you intimidate other women?
other women?
Yes.
I hope not, because that's not the that's not the spirit, that's not the wish, right? We want everyone to be uplifted,
Okay.
right? We want other women to see the value that we bring on the table, that they can also bring a value on the table in their lives a different ways, or even the same way, however they want to, right? And to also show that there's space for everyone. The same way we have a little community, my sisters and I, you know, we do a show, we allow everyone to be unique and different, right? We're very different, as you can see, right? You talk to us, our personalities are different, but we all have allow each other to have space within the show. So for me, if you look at it, it's the same analogy if you want to use it for the world, right? Okay. We can all be strong, independent, beautiful, and dynamic, and very, you know, very focused in what we want to do, and still allow other women, right, to be around us, to have the same, because diversity and the same strength, because that's only going to make all of us better and elevate us to another level. Because I strive to be better every day because of my sisters. So I hope that when I'm around other women, I'm going to continue to strive to be better, and other women can also strive to be better being around me and my sisters and any other woman that's dynamic. So I think it's important.
Important it is. Now,
yeah.
Speaking on behalf of all your sisters on that topic.
Yeah.
You're not married, are you?
I'm not married.
Okay.
I'm not married.
See, why you gotta do that? Like, you know,
No.
I'm not married. You
No,
know.
but I don't say it with like with pride or anything. I just say it nonchalant, meaning it's not something that should define you as a person, right? Everyone's path is different, right? And I want every woman to know that. And it's okay if you're young and you get married, right? As long as you know who you are. It's very important, because if you don't, you'll make mistakes. You'll make a lot of mistakes. And it's also okay to make mistakes and learn and grow. Like Dr. J, she was married at a younger age than I was. Amy isn't married. She's, you know, but I feel like if I was married younger than this age, I probably would have had like 4 divorces. You know, because I've found so much about myself this last, let's say, several decades, right, that I've lived. If I told you my age, you probably wouldn't believe it, right? So, and I think that the only reason why I was able to find myself and to be able to give some of myself to a potential partner and to the world is because I took the time to really figure out my life and to make mistakes and to learn and to just be in the journey and embrace who I was. I actually was the person that was always afraid of marriage. And this might sound very crazy being from an African background, right? Because that's not something that happens, that some people say often, especially women. It's always like men would be like, oh, I'm afraid of commitment, or I'm afraid of marriage. As a woman, I've always been afraid, because I know that you have to give a lot and you have to let go of a lot of things about yourself in order to meet in the middle with your partner. So yeah. So I'm getting therapy right now from Danny. Okay, thank you. How much do I need to pay you, Danny?
It's fine.
Okay.
For the past days, had the conversation of girls and the dynamic of their relationship with their fathers.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I said is the fact that girls are trying to stay away from the embarrassment that fathers bring to the house. That's why that relationship is it's on a thin thread.
Mm-hmm.
You have your dad, as women, you have your dad that's out there following your own, that's following your somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they talk.
Mm-hmm.
they make you look stupid at the end of the day. And this is why for most, especially for most African women, of our many African girls, they try to just stay away from all that. Like, look, you do you. That's, I don't care what you do.
Mhm.
But to you as sisters, like, how important was it to have a relationship with your father? How is it important for girls to have
Oh
relationships?
my God. I mean, and you asked this to the right sister, right? Like all my sisters know, I'm a daddy's girl. I love my father. We have such a good relationship, and even when I was younger, our relationship was just beautiful, right? So I just want to appeal to every. I don't know why I'm getting emotional when I talk about my dad. I get emotional, but I just love him so much, you know. I guess now I'm the crazy one, right? I laugh and then I tell crazy jokes and then I get teary. Anyways, yeah, but so you know, I just hope that every man out there would really listen to this. Part of what we are talking about is so important. I don't know who I would have been without my father in my life. Like, I don't know, honestly. I know moms are important in lives, but for me, what my father has shown me and taught me, like my strength, yes, I would like to think it's all from my mom, but I think the unspoken, the underlining stuff, the subconscious one that is not said, that is not touchable, those are the ones you have with your father, right? The ones that you have with your mom, those are the ones it's loud, that you say, that people see, right? That shows, if you know how to cook, if you know all these things. But the ones that are down the layers, like the emotional ones, I think those are from the father. I really think so, because of the connection I have with my dad. And I think I'm able to be a strong woman, right? And independent, not in Jay's and Amy's sense of independent, because we always have a clash on what it means to be an independent woman when we have shows, right? But to be strong and to be emotionally independent, right? I think it all comes from my father. So I think what I just want to appeal to every guy that is watching, if you have a child, especially a girl, please create a strong, beautiful relationship with them, because this will define where they will be in the future, especially when it comes to showing up with a guy, showing up in their relationship with men. It is so important. So I don't want to preach. I'm just saying from my heart what I feel when it comes to my dad. So I hope that was enough.
No,
Yeah.
that's beautiful, because we're always told that every girl somewhat always end up with her father,
Mm,
kind of man.
mm,
Whether consciously or unconsciously, there's always going to be something about the guy that you end up with, or that you get into a relationship, or things that attract you about a man that
mm-hmm,
linked to your father, whether
mm.
or not. And if you look closely, you will always find that that is true. There's always going to be that. It could be the way he dresses, it could be the way he speaks, it could be just
His
his.
swag, his swag. My dad had swag.
Exactly. So women, even if you deny it, and I know for most women, because of how much they've been hurt by men, they somewhat turn to they're like, oh yeah, I'm a lesbian. It's okay. You could want to say you like women now, but deep down it is
You may come around.
it's deep down it's turned up
Mm,
from some. It's because you
mm,
found someone to take that fatherly, you haven't found someone that looks somewhat like your father, that
mm,
you're able to embrace enough.
mm.
um
Yeah.
that
And for me, Danny, I just want to say one thing. My dad sets really high standards. He really did. So maybe that's why it took me this long before to find a partner and say, okay, this is the guy because he is every man. He is everything I admire in life about a man. So it's important to really set that high standard so that your daughters can actually say, I'm not settling for anything less. I want a good man. I want a man that treats me with respect, kindness, right? That is going to be a partner, right? Yeah. Yeah. Did I pull some strings there? Did I do something? Oh, Daddy.
Two
We get
questions.
spiritual.
Two questions as we finalize.
Okay, okay.
It's this is very important. Equity. We've been talking about we've had the issue of the sex equity or the gender equity. Because when we're talking about equality, it's somewhat just having men and women somewhat share a little bit of what life and society has to offer. But equity is meaning we are equal in all sense, which I think is far. Now, do you see a world where we have the 50-50 standards that men or that women are praying or desperately search for, that 50-50 standard?
Danny, putting up on you. Danny, but I'm gonna want to film the Danny. Danny Magio. Danny Magio. Don't want to invite one when you are free. Don't want to invite one when you are free. Danny, don't get me started.
Okay.
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 All right. You want me to tell you the little I want to share about this before we wrap?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are the ladies? Don't come for me. I mean, I think one thing I like about your audience, they seem very open-minded.
Oh, they are. They are.
And I love that about them, so I think I could share this here, right? I think we need to be honest with ourselves as women, and I'm going to speak to the women. I'm not going to speak to the men. They have Danny to speak to them. I'm going to speak to the women, right? It is really important to be honest with ourselves and realize that yes, we can be, when it comes to work, when it comes to outside of the household, we can demand equal pay, we can demand equality, we can demand 50-50, right? But I think that's where it needs to stop. And I say this to say, God created Adam and Eve for a reason. God created man and woman for a reason. I will never, ever, as long as I identify myself as a woman, I'm not talking about the people in between. I'm talking about if you identify yourself as a woman, I will never, ever become a man. So hence, I have to stay in my lane as a woman, right? You will never become a woman, Danny, if you identify yourself as a man. You cannot, unless you identify otherwise, right? And I say all of this to say this. As a woman, I have to stay in my role as a woman. Danny is sitting up. That's good. Okay, I caught your attention. All right. I have to stay in my role as a woman because I cannot show up in a relationship or I cannot show up in life, right? And say that I want to be the woman and at the same time speak and walk and talk like the man. Because where's your space in this? If I take both roles. And us, the younger women, the younger generation, I'm not talking about my parents, my great-grandparents, we're very confused because we went to school, we're educated, we have our own money, we have jobs, we're self-sufficient, sustainable, right? So therefore, we are confused in everything with what we are and what we are not. We're still a woman. We cannot be a guy. A perfect example. When I show up in a relationship with a guy, right? I have to allow him to be the guy. He has to allow me to be the woman. But I have to allow him to be the guy by being the woman. I cannot tell him, you have to be the man like this. You see this? Mm-hmm. This is what you call masculine energy. You need to be the guy. You need to be, I can't do that. The way that I will have that dynamic change is to lean back, to be in my divine femininity as a woman, right? And then that will give you the space as a guy to be the guy, right?
True.
It doesn't have to be spoken. It's unspoken. It's silent. It's all energy. Now, if you show up in our household, right? Let's say if a guy show up in my household, right? And I'm the spouse, I'm the wife, right? Will I like the guy to come and be and play the role of the woman? I like they kapitas na. Ay Wiley. If you do that, Your mom will be like, what the hell?
True.
That's not going to feel good. So it's, in essence, us as women, we do the same exact thing, just different dynamic. Because if I tell you, Danny, you need to come home now, you need to da-da-da-da, you need to, I'm using your tone, the masculine energy, to suit the feminine energy when it's not possible. It doesn't feel good. You're gonna accept it because you've this, as a culture, we've accepted this. But inside, as a woman, as a man, it's emasculating you. Anyways,
So,
my brother.
so just because now just the last part, Madam Constant is saying. So wait, are you asking women to stay home?
No.
And the man shouldn't help and all of that. It,
I want to talk to Madam Constance.
what's the angle here?
Okay, what I'm saying is that, and I'm gonna wrap this up, and we're gonna talk about this another time. What I'm saying is that
we'll get back. We'll get to that.
what I'm saying is that women, we need to realize we are enough. We are sufficient as women, and we can embrace our divine femininity, and we can embrace who we are as a woman. I do not need to try to be you in order to feel sufficient. And when I say try to be you, meaning if I'm going to be the one overpowering the relationship with masculine energy, right? Telling you, directed, leaning forward to move the relationship where I want it to go, right? Telling you where you're going to take me out on a date, how we need to go, blah, blah, blah. You driving, you go. See, it's a broad topic. I can't bring it up all here, but you got the picture. So I'm saying, as a woman, I could be independent, strong, beautiful. The woman, the divine energy, the divine femininity, it comes from here. How you feel, right? Soft, right? Feminine, right? This is the divine femininity. This is the divine feminine energy that I'm talking about. That we have to embrace and realize it's enough. I don't need to be loud, rowdy. I don't need to be controlling in order to be enough. You know what's enough about me as a woman? My softness, my warmth, right? It comes from here, from the womb. That's why women give birth. That's why we are nurturing.
True.
Right? Now, if you want to switch the roles and become the guy and dominate and have masculine energy, that is a problem, and that creates conflicts in relationships.
True.
If you do it, it might be okay for a while. The guy will put up with it, but it doesn't feel good to him. And at some point, he's going to resist it. And at some point, you as a woman, you're going to get exhausted trying to drive and lead the relationship, because you have to allow the guy to know they're enough also to show up in the relationship how they need to show up as a man. Anyways.
True. You made valid point. But yes, Princess said some women take the 50-50 thing too extra. And I think the confusion or pretty much just where some of my comment section
what are they saying? What are they saying? What are they saying?
They lost you when you're talking about the activities in the home, because for the fact that most men are entirely not helpful in the house.
You know why?
Is because they rely entirely on the woman to do that.
You know what is wrong with our society as Africans? It's our fault also as the women. You know why? Because we show up too much. We are doing too much as women. First of all, you're working just like the guy is working, right? And then you want to take care of the whole house. Like, let's say if your woman tells you to take out the trash, he's going to tell you 50 times. And if you don't do it, he's going to get up. She might not even tell you 50 times. She might tell you one or twice, and you don't do it, she's going to get up and do it for you. You know what that's doing to you? It's going to tell you that if you don't do it, she's going to do it.
True.
So, and this is why I'm talking about this so passionately, because I feel that a lot of us women, you know, our parents have taught us so much, but at the same time, we come in the West and we've confused a lot of the different cultures and a lot of different energies together, and we don't know which one to hold on to and which one to leave, right?
Anyway, it's been great having this conversation. Last question, but just to finalize that, just to finalize,
Okay.
um, I feel women have an enormous amount of power, and I feel the direction or the dynamic that every man has is turned from how women treat them. And I think if some men don't cook or clean or do regular chores in the house, it's because a woman has allowed them to take that path. And if a man is strong and resourceful and helpful, it's because a woman has equally stepped up to allow. So whether a man could be 50 or be 5, the woman still has the power to mold them into what they want them to become.
We are so powerful, but we don't trust our power. We that's why we leave it and we try to go to your role because we think that's the most powerful one. For me, it's an insult to my divine femininity, because if you want to be the controller as a woman and you want to control everything and you want to dominate everything, you telling me what you have as a woman is not enough to control or to move things around or to control or to push things around the direction that it needs to go. You want to come out of your body and become like a man.
True. So you touched something. I have no idea what you. Okay, so you touched something. Your faded away over there. But yes, women. I think you need to harness your power, and you know that you're strong. And if the world is meant to be a better place, I think women have a bigger role to play. If the world eventually has to change, women have to understand that the dynamic is not the same. Even the ratio of women to men in this world is certainly not even the same. Women are way more than men, and they're able to change. They're able to change society in such a drastic way if they just put their minds together,
Right.
and believe. I
And
mean,
trust ourselves.
yes, that's the final question. Final question. What's the sister show looking like for 2021? I mean, what are the plans? Because I remember Dr. J was about to say something. She said you were eventually going to.
Well, I don't know what she was talking about, but all
She said that there's some plans in the pipeline.
I heard her.
So shortly, what are the prospects for the sisters for the sisters show?
Yeah.
Anyone that's joining us, we've had 5 sisters so far. This has been the longest crude
I know.
that we've had, just to get to talk to all of them. So they have the show on different platforms, but you could equally just get to link them up. If you go to the internet, if you go to Google, because I would simplify that, if you go to Google and type www.thesistershow.com, all the information is going to pop up, and you can pretty much just digress all the content that they already have out there. So what are the plans for pretty much the rest of the year or 2021? But she said you're planning something special for the end of the year or for this.
Well, we have ST. We're gonna do ST become a boyo, right? We're gonna do ST next weekend. Don't miss that show. It's gonna be a great one on Saturday. And then we actually will have the last episode of the season, which is we've done 14 shows.
Okay.
So if they go on Facebook, they'll see like 14 shows that have been shot, and then we'll go on to the next season. And we actually are filming. We were filming that one today, and we're going to finish that up as soon as we're done here.
Okay.
And so that's the Mentor on the Spot. That's going to be a great one. It's really going to go into details in like how to scale up your business. Very, very literal, very practical solutions into anyone that has a business or want to go into business. Because as you know, I've been in business for a long time now. Ole, she also has done something with business. She has a business on the side, but she knows a lot about SEO, branding, marketing, and all that stuff. Amy, the same thing. So yeah, so that's going to be good. And then we have a whole lot of different shows that we're going to be planning out for the second season. So it's always a lot. And I love the sister show because we are very authentic, and we want Gambia and Africa and everyone to know that it's okay to be yourself, and don't worry and don't care when people judge you, because when somebody judges you, it's nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with the way they see things.
True.
So
Yuka.
yeah.
I want to say thank you so much. You are a whole vibe.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Apart from being the opal one, you are.
Okay, ask your audience. Do you guys think I'm opal?
Hey, Juka, you're not opal. Yo, reka coffee just there. You know what coffee? You know, Juka, mashallah. You know, Juka is the real deal. Yeah. I want to say thank you so much to you. I want to say thank you so much to Amy, to Dr. Ole,
And Dr. Mams.
Ole, and Dr. J.
And Dr. Mom's next time, she's at work right now. She's always busy working, but hopefully next time in the future, inshallah.
Wait, that will be epic. I want to say thank you so much for the time, for the inspiration, for the knowledge, for the laughs as well. Good laughs, but guys, please don't miss it out. They have, like I said, it's the Crude, or it's Constant Talk crossover to the Sisters Show. So you've had a little taste of what it feels like to be talking to them or to watch them on.
Thank you, Danny.
In their element. So I really implore anyone to implore them to follow you guys on your social platforms. It's been great being with each and every one of you. I love you guys so much. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to just be here with me.